A progressive alliance appears dead in the water by the Green parties, which has dropped any hopes of having one with the Labour and Lib Dems. I'm going to read into this more from Byline Times, guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Regan Elite here with an article from Byline Times with the headline that progressive alliances are dead in the water as the Green Party effectively drops hopes of a deal with Labour and the Lib Dems. And the party has adopted a more centralised approach as it steps away from potential deals with other parties. Now, obviously, on a council level, that's obviously different because you on a local level. We're talking about. I think this is more about at the top end of of the spectrum. So there is still that. I know there's still people saying that it's a surefire win that Labour are going to win by a landslide, but I still think some people are going to vote Lib Dems. I still think people are going to vote Greens. I just don't. Just right off the bat, I don't see how the Greens are really going to make an impact in the wider space here, and I do think that some people are going to more likely vote Labour or Lib Dem if they think that their vote is going to tactically vote out the Conservative Party at the next general election in terms of tactical voting. And that's not to say that people aren't going to vote Green, because I do believe people will vote for the Green Party at the next general election, just not on anywhere near the levels that Labour or even the Lib Dems here for that matter. But they have come a long way, the Green Party, that is for sure. But this is the first this is the first past the post system, and it's not exactly in there. It's not the electoral system is not in their favour, that is for sure, guys. So the Green Party has ditched efforts to build a progressive alliance between Labour and the Liberal Democrats and Greens ahead of the next election, as conference attendees voted to allow the party's national executive to force local groups to select candidates and run a full slate. In a notable shift in political strategy, the Green Party leadership receives overwhelming support from members to allow the executive to force the selection of candidates at every constituency in the upcoming general election. This is really good, because you want candidates who are going to you want the members to say, okay, this person is the best person we've got possible to give us a shot in a seat. Now, obviously, the chances of them winning another gaining more MPs is very tough for them. But if they've got somebody who is local, who has the right things and can really deliver the message for the Green Party, they may get a few votes, and they may, and who knows, it's unlikely, but they've definitely won a lot of They did win a lot of fair share of council seats in the by-elections. They did win a fair share of council seats, so it's a good thing, I would say, for the Green Party. This decision, made during the party's conference over the weekend at Brighton, signifies a departure from the party's previous backing for a progressive alliance approach, whereby candidates could voluntarily stand aside in target seats in exchange for backing elsewhere. It was viewed as a flop in previous elections, with the party failing to make significant ground impacts, with the Lib Dems and Labour refusing to engage. Yeah, what's the point in them stepping back and letting Lib Dems and Labour take seats when, if they're not willing to coordinate back? Yeah, it makes sense. Green Party's co-leaders Adrian Ramsey and Carla Denga, Green peers Baroness Nadine Barrett, and several members of the party executives were the chief backers of the change. The motion effectively prevents local parties forming their own local pacts with other parties during general elections. That's an interesting one. So local parties, yeah. So they don't want no working together sort of thing whatsoever. Former party leader Bennett made it clear that electoral alliances are unlikely in the forthcoming election, citing the reluctance of other parties to engage. Independent party tie Bright Green reported. She called for a future collaboration to be arranged at the national level, centralising the decision-making process to make it more structured and organised. But Adrian Spard, the former co-chair of the Green Party Regional Council, was among those unsuccessfully opposing the move. The motion passed with more than the necessary two-thirds majority, being endorsed by around 73% of the members at the conference. This development may compel some local parties previously reluctant to present candidates due to financial constraints or existing electoral alliances to revisit their stance. It was a while ago that they were suffering some real financial trouble. I don't know if they're still in that, but maybe they perhaps received some funding during that time. The Greens are, sorry, excuse me, I apologise for my throat, towards a more assertive electoral position, potentially boosting the party's visibility and impact in the forthcoming general election. Green peers Baroness Jenny Jones told Byline Times, alliances always work for the bigger party, so yes, they're off the table, but the Greens know how to get things done. We have often offered to work with other parties and they're good at it. For example, if we worked with the Labour, the job I love is Labour is COVID Corruption Commissioner. They could trust me to do a thorough job. On tactical voting, I've loathed it, but the Green Party might rely on it to get more Green MPs. If everyone who said they would vote Green under PR just voted Green, we'd do really well. The party's deputy leader, Zach Polinsky, said the Green Party knows that the public want to see the parties working together more. That's an important part of our values too. Now when they will be standing in every constituency in the country, it's become much more possible to do that. We're very open talking to the Labour Party about a national arrangement, but we would absolutely have to involve proportional representation and climate action in the heart of that. If Labour aren't willing to do that, then it's impossible to have an alliance when they failed on the most basic meanings of the word progressive. I do like that they are pushing on the front of PR, and obviously it's been said numerous times that they're not going to. People have said that when Labour's manifesto comes out, they're not going to have proportional representation in it, but it could potentially come down the line. But I do glad that Greens are taking a stance on their policies and not willing to compromise on those two ones at that, because proportional representation will give a much fairer audience for the public. He added that the party's big focus is now getting 4 Green MPs elected to Westminster in Waveney Valley and Adrian Ramsey, Bristol Centre Carla Denver, Brighton Pelivan Serene Bailey replacing Caroline Lucas. That's going to be hard replacing Caroline Lucas. And North Hertfordshire ex-MEP Eileen Charles. Polanski also urged voters to avoid voting tactically outside Green target seats. If someone wants to vote tactically, then voting for a party standing up for an equal fair vote. Whilst everyone's tackling the injustice of our society, then the only tactical vote is to vote Green. Polanski and London Assembly Mayor told Byline Times that there was a real determination among members to get 4 MPs elected next year. In 2019, tactical voting to prevent a hard Brexit was encouraged by the Green Party, Liberal Democrats and Welsh pro-independent party Plaid Cymru in the run-up to the general election. The parties stood down several parliamentary candidates for each other in seats where one of them was thought to have a genuine prospect of winning if the vote wasn't split between left or centre parties. Caroline Lucas had backed the approach alongside cross-party groups Compass. Despite a lack of national pacts between parties, voters are expected to vote tactically in large numbers across the UK next year amid fears of a right-wing candidate slipping in between a split anti-Conservative vote. Right-wing party Reform UK, polling similar numbers to the Greens, is also expected to pull up a full scale of candidates in the next election. The party announced at the weekend, denting Rishi Sunak's hope of a clear running Conservative-held seats. At this year's conference, the Greens also revealed a new fairer, greener homes guarantee, which will involve investment of $145 billion over 10 years to provide grants to retrofit homes that they needed, along with the government's backed finances to make up additional costs. Local authorities would be handed the power to impose rent controls on the private rental sector, ensuring that they are affordable homes for key and critical workers in overheated local house markets. And the party wants to increase the stock of social housing by 150,000 homes a year, including bringing empty homes back into use. Those are some good stuff there. But are they really going to make an impact? So they are looking at targeting about four seats at the next general election. And obviously they're going to put candidates pretty much everywhere. And I think that's the right thing for their party. Not in the wider... I know some people will say in the wider scheme of things, there might be a fear that Greens not kind of coordinating with Labour and Lib Dems. I don't think that this decision by the Green Party not to cooperate with Labour and Lib Dems at the general election as much, I don't think it's going to detriment or be the main cause if the Conservatives manage to either keep in power, or we have a hung parliament and they have enough hung parliament and they have minority government Conservatives. I don't think the Greens will be responsible for that. I really, really don't. They, like Reform, are not. Let's say, if we're comparing them to Reform, it's not really fair, to be fair. But they don't have the finances, the seats to be on the same level as the two main parties or the Lib Dems. However, this is a force. If they do manage somehow to get 4 MPs in the Houses of Parliament in the next general election, it would be a massive vote of confidence in the Green Party. And the message is quite clear from them. Like, if you're going to tactical vote, they're basically saying do it outside of seats. Well, I would say do it outside of seats where they're unlikely to win. But if you do it in a seat where they're likely, where they have a great chance of winning, put your vote in for them. Is what I would say. This is one of the most, Green Party out of all of them are the most realistic party, in my opinion, out of all of them. Now, they're not perfect. No party is perfect. But if where you are and your vote towards the Green Party can make a difference to that party, it's worth putting your vote in the ballot box for. Of course, I understand but if you're in a situation where you need to vote Labour, or you need to vote Lib Dems in order to make sure that you give them the best chance of voting the Conservatives out, then you do that. But if you're in like a safe Labour seat like I am, I'm more likely to vote for a Green Party, if I'm honest, because I don't see the Conservatives winning the seat that I'm in, for example. But I at the moment, my vote is going to Green, because I generally believe in their policies, believe in what they do. Will I become a member? No. But at the moment, they are the party that speaks more to the people than anybody. Both sides of the spectrum, because there are people rightly have questioned Labour. Whether you agree or disagree, you can disagree with that. And of course, we all know where we stand with the Conservative Party. But we'll have to see closer to the time what the manifestos are going to be for all the parties. What do you guys think of the Greens? What do you guys think of their chances? Do you actually think it's 4 MPs a bit too ambitious for them? Is it a realistic ambition? Are they going to be able to hold on to that seat from Caroline Lucas? Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys actually think. Like, share and subscribe as always. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.